Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm here to give you guys my review for Lucha Underground Season 1, Episode 17. And this episode is called A War Started in Mexico. And this episode was taped on January 24th, 2015, and it aired on March 4th, 2015. The episode, and we also had Matt Stryker and Vampiro on commentary for this show. Um, the episode started off with Dario Cueto and Alberto El Patron backstage. And Dario Cueto's talking about how Alberto El Patron's going to have his debut in Lucha Underground. And Alberto El Patron says that he wants Tiano. But Dario Cueto doesn't really want to give him that match. He kind of gives him a lot of the jobbers, saying that we should wait and so that way I can promote that match a lot better, which made sense for Dario Cueto to say that. But then Alberto El Patron knocks the stuff off his desk and says, "Am I not making myself clear? I want Tiano." So then Dario Cueto says, "You know what? Tonight's a history-making night. Well, tonight I'll grant you that match." Pretty much because I think he was scared that Alberto El Patron would have beaten the shit out of him. So I like this here. I thought it was really good. It made Alberto El Patron come off as a badass, and Dario Cueto came off as that great kind of like stingy promoter. And then we had the first match on the show. It was Mil Muertes versus Phoenix. Really good opening matchup here. Phoenix, before the match even starts, hits a Hurricanrana off the stairs right onto Mil Muertes, and then he tries to put him in the win, but then Mil Muertes ends up hitting a right hand on him, throws him in the win. Phoenix hits a Hurricanrana on him, and then an Insecurity, then a Hurricanrana, and Phoenix starts to get the upper hand in the matchup, but then Mil Muertes hits a wicked big boot and clothesline, taking out Phoenix. Mil Muertes destroys Phoenix throughout the rest of the matchup. Eventually, Phoenix ends up making his comeback. He hits a flip dive on the outside. He ends up hitting a really cool back flip dive on the outside as well. And eventually, Katrina makes her way down to the win, and Mil Muertes and Phoenix continue their matchup. And eventually, Mil Muertes ends up hitting a wicked clothesline on Phoenix and ends up choking him and picking him up and hitting the flatliner on him for the win. And Mil Muertes beats Phoenix. Afterwards, he demands that Katrina comes in the ring and gives him the lick of death, but she refuses. So then he grabs her by the hair and acts like he's gonna hit her with a flatliner, but then Phoenix hits an Insecurity and grabs the stone that Katrina's been coming down to the ring with and hits Mil Muertes off the head with it. And then afterwards, Katrina gives Mil Muertes the lick of death and makes out with Phoenix. I like this here. I like this storyline. It's very unique and really cool. Um, and then we had the next then we had the next segment. They did a vignette for Conan using the song "Evil Ways," and then afterwards, Dario Cueto meets with Evilise, um, Son of Havoc, and Angelica, or however you say his name, and Helica, and Evilise wants it to be the next number one contender for the Lucha Underground Championship. But Dario Cueto says that she hasn't proven enough um, to get a title match. The only reason that she ended up defeating Angelica is because of interference from Son of Havoc. So he makes a rematch, and this time, so that way Son of Havoc won't interfere. He makes him the special guest referee. Now, obviously, you can say that this doesn't make any sense, but considering the fact that Dario Cueto is supposed to be this stingy heel, I think that's the purpose that we're supposed to take from this, is that it's him being a heel and stacking the deck against Ann Angelica. So I thought I like it. So if you think about it that way, it does make sense. And then we had Sexy Star versus Big Rick, and the winner would get a 3-on-1 handicap match against the Crew. Sexy Star does everything she can to try to cut Big Rick down to size, but Big Rick is just much too strong, and Big Rick really doesn't want to hurt Sexy Star, so eventually he acts like he's gonna hit the Uranagi into a one handed spine buster. I forget what it's called, but instead he just chokes her and forces her shoulders down to the mat. So I kind of liked it. It made Big Rick look like a gentleman. And then afterwards, the crew comes in the ring and attacks Sexy Star and Big Rick. And the crew hits Castro. Well, Cortez, Castro, and Mr. Cisco hit the Flapjack Code Breaker on Sexy Star. And Big Rick's though able to fight him off, and the crew ends up taking off running. And Big Rick even took his eye patch off. I thought was really cool. And then that was pretty much the segment. Overall, I liked it. It was it was a pretty decent match, and I thought a really good angle coming out of it. And then Prince Puma and Alberto El Patron are backstage, which is really cool to see them backstage together. And and Phoenix was training. Alberto El Patron comes up to him and says that he needs to show a little bit more fire going up against Cage, and he needs to get away from Conan, but also makes it well known that if he gets past his Cage, Alberto El Patron is coming after his Lucha Underground Championship. I liked it. I thought it was a really good way to kind of show that Alberto El Patron was hungry for a championship. And then we had the main event. It was Alberto El Patron versus Tiano, and before the match starts, they did a vignette for Alberto El Patron, kind of going over his back history, which he kind of already talked about when he was first there. And Alberto El Patron kicks the crap out of Tiano in the beginning of this matchup. He hits an Enzuigiri in the corner. He hits a wicked kick right to the ribs. He hits a suicide dive on the outside, a Hurricanrana. But then eventually Tiano throws him back first into the guardrail and hits a DDT on the floor, and Tiano dominates the rest of the matchup for a while. But then Alberto El Patron makes his comeback and hits a tornado DDT, but then eventually Tiano is able to get the upper hand. He behind the referee back wraps that bullwhip that he's been coming out with and hits Alberto El Patron with it a couple of times. Alberto El Patron hits the double stomp out of the corner, but gets a near fall. Then he goes for the cross arm breaker, but Tiano reverses it and tries to use the bullwhip, but Alberto El Patron ducks, hits a super kick on Tiano, and whips him with the bullwhip, which causes a disqualification. So Tiano wins, and he pretty much whips him a ton of times with the bullwhip. So I like this too. Obviously it continues the feud and stuff. And then we had a backstage segment with Dario Cueto and King Quano, and he announces a steel cage match for next week between King Quano and Johnny Mundo. And King Quano says that he's gonna kill Johnny Mundo and leave his head and hanging up on the wall of Dario Cueto's office. And then that was pretty much the end of the episode. So overall, I really liked this episode of Lucha Underground. If I had to rate it, I'll give it a 7.3. I thought it was a really good episode. I'll give it about a C, maybe a little bit under C plus. And I can't wait to see the steel cage match and stuff. Going over my style ratings. For Mil Muertes versus Phoenix, I thought that was a really good match. I'll give it 3.5 stars. Big Rick versus Sexy Star, that was pretty decent. I'll give it 2 stars. And Tiano Jr. versus Alberto El Patron was pretty good. I'll give it 3.25. And that's pretty much my review of this episode. Make sure you guys like, comment, and share this video so people will watch it. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel for more content and click on the bell so that way every time I upload a video, you guys will get the notifications for it. Make sure you guys do the same thing for my CM Brothers and on the Talkinator YouTube channel. And that's pretty much it, guys. Talk to you later.